Welcome. In this explainer, we're going to break down some pretty complex TCM formulas into visuals that are super clear and easy to remember.
So, you're studying for the boards, right? Let's talk about a topic that is absolutely crucial: formulas that tonify qi. Now, to make this stick for your exams, we're going to use a simple analogy. Think of your body as an energy factory, and these formulas, well, they're the specialized toolkits you need to keep that factory running smoothly.
And our tour of this factory has to start at the main power plant, the spleen. In TCM, the spleen is basically in charge of producing all the vital energy we call qi. It's what takes the food you eat and literally transforms it into the power that runs your entire system. And when you're deficient in qi, it's pretty much like a power outage in that factory. You get this deep fatigue, this weakness that just gets worse with any activity, but you feel a bit better when you rest. And that right there, that's a classic diagnostic sign you'll see all the time.
Okay, so before we start fixing any specific problems, you have to meet the factory's standard, day-to-day maintenance crew. This is our foundational formula, ZHONG YI TANG, also known as the Four Gentlemen Decoction.
Now, the head honcho of this crew, the one calling all the shots, is ginseng. That's our chief herb. It's the real powerhouse here, responsible for powerfully tonifying the body's foundational energy, the yuan qi. And the other three herbs? They're the perfect support team, creating a really balanced, harmonious effect.
You really need to remember this formula. It's considered the gold standard because it's so moderate and well-balanced. In fact, the next three formulas we're going to look at are really just modifications of this core team, customized for some very common specific problems.
So let's get into our first upgrade. Let's see how we build on this foundation when the energy factory runs into a very specific kind of trouble.
So, what happens when the qi isn't just low, but it's actually sinking, like it's failing to hold things up in the body? This is when you start to see serious issues like organ prolapse. It's like gravity is just winning inside your body.
For that, we bring in the anti-gravity kit, ZHONG YI QI TANG. You see, we take our basic crew, the Four Gentlemen, and we add a specialized upgrade, herbs like Huang Qi, Sheng Mai, and Chai Hu. These guys are specifically designed to do one thing: lift that energy right back up. And this is where things get interesting. We have a new chief in town, Huang Qi, or astragalus. Now, ginseng is still on the team, of course, but Huang Qi takes the lead here. Why? Because its primary, most powerful action is to raise that sunken yang qi, fixing the root cause of the problem.
Okay, next problem. What if the factory is all clogged up with dampness? You know, like a humid, musty basement where nothing works efficiently. This is when you see symptoms like bloating, loose stools, and just a heavy, sluggish, tired feeling.
For this, we need the dehumidifier kit, LING by Zhusan. And look, we're starting with our trusty Four Gentlemen again, but we're adding ingredients that really boost the spleen's ability to handle fluids and drain away all that excess dampness. But here, our original chief, ginseng, stays in charge. You might be wondering why. Well, it's because the real root of the problem is a weak spleen that just can't handle moisture. So by powerfully strengthening the spleen itself, ginseng helps the factory dry out all that dampness right from the source. And what about this one? The spleen factory is making energy, but it's not communicating properly with the heart, which is like our body's headquarters. This creates a really frustrating disconnect where you feel exhausted, but you're also anxious, and your mind just won't settle down. This is where we need GUI PI TANG, the Mind Sync Kit. This formula takes key players from the Four Gentlemen crew and adds in a whole new team of herbs that not only boost spleen qi, but also nourish heart blood, which is what we need to do to calm the mind and spirit.
This formula is cool because it uses a team of chiefs to tackle both sides of the problem. You've got Renxin and Huang Qi working together to rebuild the qi, while other herbs like Dong Gui are nourishing the blood. It's all about restoring that crucial spleen-heart, or mind-body connection.
Okay, now let's look at two special ops formulas. These are for unique situations that go beyond our basic factory model, so you'll notice they don't start with the Four Gentlemen crew.
So think of this first one as an emergency situation where the factory has just been running way too hot for way too long. Both the qi, the power, and the yin, the body's coolant, have been totally burned up. You often see this after a really high fever or intense sweating that's just damaged the body's fluids.
The solution is SHENG MAI SAN, our coolant and recharge pack. It's such an elegant, simple three-herb combo. The chief, Renxin, recharges the qi.
Mai Dong comes in to replenish all those lost fluids, and Wu Weizi stops any more from leaking out. It's a brilliant way to restore the pulse in vital energy.
Now for our last scenario, picture a red alert in the factory. You have to produce a vital resource, blood, and you have to do it now. But you don't even have enough power, enough qi to turn the machines on. This is what's happening here. You might see a red face from the exertion, but the pulse is weak and deficient. The secret to this formula, Dang Gui Bu Shi Tang, is all about this one critical number, a 5-to-1 ratio of its two ingredients. Seriously, this ratio is everything, and it is a classic exam question, so remember it. So who's the chief? Even though Deng Gui is famous for building blood, the chief here is overwhelmingly Huang Qi. This is all because of a core TCM principle. Qi is the commander of blood. You absolutely must generate enough qi first to give the body the power it needs to produce blood. That massive 5-to-1 dose of Huang Qi makes that crystal clear. All right, here it is, the cheat sheet. If you're going to screenshot anything from this, this is the one. It gives you the clinical pattern, the analogy to help you remember it, and the key exam tip, what the chief herb's main job is for all 5 of these formulas. This is your high-yield review, right here. So, what this really gives you is a powerful way to think, a framework for understanding not just these 5 formulas, but the deep logic behind how TCM formulas are put together. If you can see the patterns and you know the chiefs, you're going to be in great shape. Good luck with your studies.